Making the decisions that are shaping how companies impact the world. In each episode, we sit down with the thought leaders who are proving that building successful businesses and also building a better future don't have to be in conflict. I'm your host, Jeff Davis, co-founder of Circulins, which is one of the fastest growing digital product passport companies in the world. Our special guest today is Jacquie Silvester, who's the founder of Bright Green Edge. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you
to
for
be here.
thank you for doing this. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be a bit different from some of these other episodes that we've done. We always, say how leadership today isn't just about performance, it's about responsibility. You've built a career over helping other companies and organizations be more responsible. Let's get into it. Like, how did you start helping companies be more sustainable?
Sure. It was my own experience, really. So when I started looking into sustainability and doing that with the retail company, I found that most of the conversations I was having resulted in me rushing off to Google an acronym or a term that I just didn't understand, whether that applied to us or not, whether that was legislation I should be aware of. And it was a really steep learning curve in those early days. And so that led me to think, well, actually, if that was my experience, then there will be companies out there who are having the same experience, or actually that's stopping them from cracking on and doing this stuff. And if I can remove those barriers by offering a bit of clarity, explanations of the jargon, those early steps, then there's definitely something I can add to the sustainability world. So yeah, that's why I started up Bright Green Edge.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know coming in from the outside into like we do digital product passports, and when I first started, getting involved into this, I mean, I started from a completely different universe. I mean, I was like, ESG? What's that one? I mean, like everything. It was all new. That's why these conversations in this podcast have been really helpful to learning.
Mm.
And so I guess you see the spectrum from them just starting to maybe they're a little bit familiar with the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. At all different levels. Some of the larger sort of small to medium companies who know that legislation is coming their way and need to make a start, and they don't have the internal resources, whether that be time, people, then I can come in and support them with that. And the other side of the coin is that I set my company up as a CIC, so that's community interest company, so that it's the profits I make will go back into offering training and workshops for organizations that charities, not for profits, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that was really important for me to be able to give back where there's a lots of these. The thing I found when I started with there's a lot of consultants out there and there's some brilliant consultants and brilliant platforms, but they have fairly hefty price tags that in the early stages when you're starting you just can't justify. So the charity sector is significantly impacted by that, so it was important for me to be able to set that balance that I can provide support across the board,
Have
across
you
the sectors.
have you found that well, I mean, I guess if they're reaching out to you, they're probably more advanced than a lot of the other companies out there that are oblivious to so many things. Do you find that a lot of companies have like really don't know at all like what's coming or what's
I think yes, there is a lot of that. One of the things I've heard time and time again are people's assumptions around their impact and activities that impact climate crisis and things like that. They've dismissed their sector because they're a service provider. They don't have a tangible product, or they're very much digital, data driven. So, and they haven't connected the dots between data centers and carbon emissions and that sort of thing. So I think there is awareness across the board, but it's very much different levels as to people's understanding.
I know when somebody asks me what I do when I tell them digital product passports, they make a face like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, well, that was what I was going to say is the legislation is changing so quickly and new things are being brought in that it's really hard to keep up to date with it. So digital product passports, they've actually been around for a while now, haven't they? They came in on I think the car batteries sort of started the ball rolling, but it's shifting. So more and more products are going to fall within that legislation and be required to have them. So it's really trying to keep up to date with that. And you know yourself as a business owner, there's so much legislation that you have to deal with, from your financial to your governance, let alone sustainability and ESG,
Mhm.
that it's really difficult to keep abreast of everything that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I was just recently at a conference in Italy, and it was a lot, I mean, lots of big textiles companies, which textiles need to be doing digital product passport. And I was asking several of the companies, like, what are you doing for digital product passports? And they would say, oh, well, we'll figure it out. We'll do it quickly, like so. Obviously, like nothing was the answer. It was like a polished up version of we're not doing anything yet. So I
Yeah,
thought,
it's not good. I think the problem is people tend to underestimate the work that's involved, and that's across
right,
the piece. So the
right. It's
digital
not
product passport, as well as like the EPR legislation, so for packaging, the data that you're having to collect and report on, it's not a simple task. So yeah, it's better to start early and be ahead of the game for sure.
yeah. I mean, some companies want to do it just for that exact reason, just to not get it chaotic. You just be already running smoothly by the time it happens
Mm.
because at some point, I mean, I'm imagining the news is going to have boxes piling up stopped at the border for not meeting the requirements.
Well, this is the thing. I think often it's people don't go down these paths because they are concerned about the cost of doing it. But actually, the cost of not doing it is greater. That when you start hitting, letting your customers down because you haven't got your products imported, or you've got
Right.
to pay fines, or you've got to pay last minute consultants because you're up against a deadline that you didn't
With
expect.
rush fees.
Everything starts getting more expensive at
Yeah,
that.
I guess that you'll be getting those calls, I'm sure that uh, hey, have you ever heard of
Absolutely. I'm here. I'm here to help.
Yeah, I used to own this litigation support company, and all of our phone calls started with, "We don't know if it's too late to do this or not," but that's like how every
Yep,
phone call started.
absolutely.
And we are like,
Yeah.
it'd be like a month's worth of work. And can we get it on Thursday morning? We're like,
I know. We do have a terrible habit of, that ostrich impression, head in the sand, ignore the problem, it'll go away. No, really won't.
yes, it's not good when a giant organization is procrastinating like we did with our homework in high school.
Definitely not.
Do
And
you,
this stuff is important. So, everybody
yeah,
needs to get on board and start doing it.
yeah, and the crazy thing is, even if an organization doesn't think it's important, it they have to do it. In Europe, in the European Union, they have no choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I was at a sustainability event a couple of months ago, and actually, someone sort of raised the comment about legislation, and all of the sustainability professionals went, "We love legislation because it makes your job easier. If you're trying to get something over the line with your company, if they're impacted by legislation, if they're compelled to do it by that, it makes it so much easier to get projects over the line, spend
Interesting.
applied, that sort of thing."
Right. Do you find that organizations they reach out to you to be more sustainable? Maybe is it like at first it's to look good, the PR part, to be kind of show that
No,
they're putting it, and th but I was gonna say, and then they learn how it re actually is better for their business. And they learn, oh wow, this actually does make an impact. This actually is a better business because of it. Or did they?
No, I'm pleased to say actually it's the other way around. It's that sort of moral feeling they should be doing more but don't know where to start, or they've had a bit of a stab at it but aren't sure they're going in the right direction. So I've the people that have come to me have very much wanted to do more, and it's been one of those things on the list of important but haven't quite got round to, because they want to be a better business, they want to improve or reduce their impact rather than being compelled by
And,
legislation
and
and
where
that
do
side
you
of
find
things.
that? Does that come from the bottom up? Does it come from the top down? Both?
Little bit of both, actually. We hear all the time that everybody's asking for this stuff. Your customers will want you to be a better business. Your investors will want you to be a better business. Your
And when you say better
employees,
business, how do you mean?
in terms of your sustainability, so you're working towards reducing your impact on the planet so that you are making a positive impact instead of a negative impact on our climate crisis, our biodiversity crisis, you name it, the environmental issues that we've got at the moment. So
Right. And then when you work with a business to help them be more sustainable, do they ever have like an aha moment at some point, or is it a gradual sort of evolution?
yeah, I think one of the it's not quite your sort of God, I didn't realize, but one of the revelations is that a lot of these things are actually efficiency gains and cost savings, because the elements of your business that are going to be having the negative impacts are the waste. So, and all of those things, if you reduce your waste, you're improving your efficiency and you're therefore improving your cost effectiveness. So it's saving money. And I think that link is often missing. And I've sort of heard people in the sustainability sector talk quite a lot more recently about not calling it sustainability anymore, because that's almost a sort of puts people off. It's too much. They haven't got
Time for a
agency over it, or
rebrand?
it's overwhelming, or yeah, exactly. But actually, you start talking to especially CEOs and CFOs about cost savings, efficiencies, and of risk avoidance, and they're really on board with what you're talking about. So I think that's the bit that people haven't connected.
Okay.
Sustainability is usually a cost saving. Once you get past the initial stages, then yes, it's starting to invest in bigger things that won't necessarily have the return, but those first early stages are often really revelatory in that sense.
Right. What's one thing that every CEO that's watching this or listening to this should do this year?
They should put sustainability in their business strategy. This is not something we should be looking at as oh, we've got a bit of spare time, we've got a bit of spare cash, we'll do this nice little thing over here. It should be embedded in your organizational strategy and be part and parcel. It will make you more resilient. It will make you sustainable as a business in the basic sense of the word, to continue on into the future.
And when you say in every sense of the word, what does sustainability leadership mean to you in like a sentence or two?
My apologies if you can hear a cat in the background.
No, not at all.
Um, so, sustainability for me, so first and foremost, is you need to be a sustainable business, i.e., stable, because you can't improve things if you are not trading anymore. So, if you don't exist, you're going to impact the communities you're trading in by removing that monetary input. So being sustainable is first and foremost making sure you're secure and you've got that longevity as an organization. And then it's making sure that your business operations are not negatively impacting the planet, so that you are not being wasteful, you're not producing waste products, pollutants, destroying habitat, wildlife, and all of those things, that you're positively impacting the planet.
Awesome. Finish this sentence. The companies that will win in the future are the ones that.
Are working alongside and with our natural surroundings and not against them.